Happy Tuesday, everyone. And I hope you are, sorry, there was a weird delay there. So let's start that over. Happy Tuesday, everyone. Welcome to Ed Talk TV, conversations worth having. I'm so excited that you're here. Feel free to jump in the comments. Even if you're watching the replay, go ahead and do the comments. That's the after party. So it doesn't matter if you're here during the live or you're here after the fact. Always be sure to hop into the comments and drop some love there. Ask a question, let us know that you're there. I say us because it's not just me, it's also all the people that will be watching this replay and all the people that will be browsing the comments, which we all know the magic happens in the comments. And what's awesome about that is that you just never know where your next opportunity is going to show up. And if you show up and deliver just simply by putting a comment or simply sharing a broadcast, you are opening the door for that opportunity. Thank you for those joining and showing some love. I'll explain the show here in just a second, and then we'll jump into today's content, which we're going to talk about money and how you can start making that money. Feel free to pop into the comments. Let me know where you're tuning in from. Also, question for you. If you've been watching previous broadcasts, I'm just curious. Today, I did not schedule my broadcast because I'm testing out the algorithm basically on Facebook. So I'm curious if that threw you off or not, if you're used to seeing a scheduled post ahead of time for the show. As you know, it goes live Monday through Friday at 4 p.m., so you kind of already know that. But I'm just curious if having a scheduled post go out an hour or two before the actual show time helps you, or if this was fine and you got this notification right away. It's all about testing. You know, we talk about that a lot here on the show. So just keep that in mind. If you see me drop down, it's because I have my phone here so that I can hop in and show some love, because I'm using a setup on my computer that allows me to make it look really cool like this, which, by the way, I'm going to go ahead and drop in the comments just for anybody who's curious. I have a paid live training tomorrow happening that will teach you about this and how to get like crazy with your broadcast. And we're going to go over Facebook Creator app. So let me drop that in the comments there just so that I can pin it at the top there. Super excited for that and can't wait. That will not be here on the Facebook page. That will be completely separate because it is a paid training. So how the show works. Basically, we cover everything from business, tech, and the user experience. I bring on guests. Today, you have just me. We'll have guests later on in the week. If you would like to be a guest, which I highly encourage you to consider that, you can head over later to checkwithed.com and click on the Facebook Live show. On that page, you'll see all about the show. You'll also be able to fill out a guest request form, just letting me know kind of why you want to be on the show. And then I'll send you a link to book it. So that way we can get you on the show. It helps you grow your audience. It helps you stand out and share what you know about it. So welcome, Tammy. I love it. I usually see your announcements, but I'm getting used to our supper with Ed every evening. Love it. Whitney, welcome. See, we have some of our regulars here. I love it. You guys are what make this all possible and keeps me going. So I love it. So that's how you can tune into the show every day, Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. All the details, again, are at checkwithed.com for you, where you can also become a guest. Pop into the comments. Even if you're watching the replay, you'll hear me say that over and over because I want you to stand out. I want you to take this opportunity because it's free. All you have to do is drop a comment. So there you go. And also, fun fact, if you go past the like button and start using those emotions, the emoticons, the emojis there, that also helps, whether it's my broadcast, yours, any kind of post, that just makes you go past the like button, which is what we're all about right now. 2018 is about growth, and by doing that, you are growing yourself and your business and everything else. So go past the like, start dropping comments, and giving more of the why behind there. So keep that in mind. Now, before we jump into the content, I like to always do a little bit of random news, and today we have some really random news. First off, how would you feel? Well, I guess I first should ask, do you go to fast food? Taco Bell, KFC, those type of things. And if you do, how would you feel if something happened to one of those places? Well, for me, I wouldn't really care, to be honest, because I don't go to fast food. But apparently in Alabama, their Taco Bell burnt down, and they had a candlelight visual for it. It was a very sad night for them, and the local news covered it, and they had people out there that were with candles and really just paying their respects because their Taco Bell burned down. So, you know, we all gotta love something, right? So there's your first random news. I will mention another one before I show you this really cool clip. Another one is Instagram reportedly is testing out, right, Whitney? Yeah, there we go. Let me bring that down a little bit. Instagram is reportedly testing out the option to, get this, see who records your stories. So if you aren't familiar, we covered stories last week on one of the episodes. Again, if you go to checkwithed.com later, you can actually find on that same page, Facebook Live show, it will show you previous episodes. And one of them was Facebook stories, but we also covered Instagram stories. And with that, you can have like basically a little clip of your day, okay? So apparently Instagram is testing out to see who actually records your stories. Because, you know, on iPhone, if you didn't know, with the iOS update, iOS 11, you actually can easily record your screen. And I'm sure there's plenty of other apps out there that will help you with that. But now that brings up, you know, privacy things, and you could even record this right now, right? Which it's nice because that's why I have my logo and stuff here, because my branding, so that it makes it harder for somebody to replace me, right? I mean, I guess you could put somebody else's face on mine, but why would you? It's good, right? So anyway, when Instagram is testing this, now it may sound familiar to you if you're familiar with Snapchat. Snapchat does have that option where anybody taking a screenshot of the actual screen will send a notification to the other person, because the whole point of Snapchat is so that it's just quick and it's not technically recording, saving what you send the other person. It's just to send it and then it's done. So there you go. Instagram's starting to do that as well. Surprise, surprise. All right. So those are two random news. Now the other one, before we get into today's content, is really actually kind of cool. How many, again, even if you're watching the replay, because I get a lot of replay viewers, how many of you are into snowboarding or skiing? Anybody? You know, the snow's starting to come. Not in my area, thankfully. North of me, though, up in Tahoe and those high Sierras. So the snow's starting to come. People are starting to go. They're getting ready. It's awesome. You know, I don't snowboard. I do a little bit of skiing. I say a little bit because I did last year and it was awesome. That was about it. I told myself that I probably should never go again because it was so perfect with the weather, with being able to stay up on the skis and go up on the, whatever you call them, the trams, the whatever to take you up to the slopes. Like all that stuff, nailed it. Beautiful day. It was awesome. I'm ruined because I'll never be able to get that again. Like ever. It was perfect, you guys. And even the people that go to the snow all the time, they were like, this is the best snow we've had in 20 years. So like, I just can't. I just can't. So Whitney, you look good, cute in snow gear. Perfect. There you go. See, we all have our thing, right? We could even hang out at the lodge and just chill with some hot cocoa or something and call it a day. So let me switch over to my screen. If you're new to me, welcome. This is a very cool program that I'm using for my Mac that allows me to switch screens and then show you some things. So we're going to take a look at this new way to go skiing or snowboarding or whatever you want to call it. So let me switch over to that. Give me 1 second here. And let's take a look at this awesome snow Happy Tuesday, everyone. And I hope you are, sorry, there was a weird delay there. So let's start that over. Happy Tuesday, everyone. Welcome to Ed Talk TV, conversations worth having. I'm so excited that you're here. Feel free to jump in the comments. Even if you're watching the replay, go ahead and do the comments. That's the after party. So it doesn't matter if you're here during the live or you're here after the fact. Always be sure to hop into the comment. I remembered it was a chairlift. So there you go. See, sometimes the computer, has to take a little second there to catch up. But there you go. SnowGo. Who's ready to buy one of those? I didn't even see if they had a price yet on those or where they're at. But looks interesting. I mean, hey, I'm sure you could get some really good air on that. So there's your random news for today. So let's talk about money. And I'm going to see, what did I even title this? Because this was, how to take your money game to the next level. So, are you a business already? I'll ask that now. Even if you're watching the replay, always feel free to comment and answer as if it's live. Here's the fun thing about that, guys, is that I will see the next day somebody commenting and we're having the conversation as if it was during the live broadcast. It's awesome. It's so cool and it's so much fun. And I think it surprises the other person too, because they're not really expecting me to reply. I don't think, especially so fast, but it's fun. And so that's what I encourage you to do. So if you have a business, feel free to let me know in the comments, even if you're watching the replay. And if you do, I'm curious, how do you go about collecting money? Now, the reason I bring this topic up is, one, we're a business, hello, and we need to make money, and we need to understand how we can make money in terms of collecting, not so much in terms of what we're selling, because that's a whole nother topic. I really want to dive into this article that I got from someone, from QuickBooks. And Tammy says, yes, full-time freelancer since 2004. Nice, Tammy. I love that. That's dedication to be able to stay in the game for so long. We all hope we can do that, right? And how many of you wonder, no matter if you've been in business for a year, 10 years, it doesn't matter. But if you've been a freelancer, you've been an entrepreneur, small business owner, whatever you want to call yourself, if you've been doing this on your own, how many times have you questioned yourself, is this going to work? Am I going to make it? Should I just go back to a 9-to-5? Those are normal questions, and it's okay if you raise your hand and say, yes, been there, done that, because we all have. And no matter who you are, we've all been doing that. So keep that in mind. But I got this great article, and I kind of want to go through some of these points because these are some of the things that I implemented in my business from the start, and it's a helpful topic. So the article is actually titled 20 Ways to Get Clients to Pay Their Bills and Invoices Faster. Can anybody guess where it came from? I'll give you a hint. It's an accounting program / taxes / all that kind of stuff. I hear you, Tammy. I am so unemployable as well because I don't know how I could go back to a 9-to-5 because I'm just up here in terms of the tech and trying to do things and getting things done in half the time, that I would be really bored unless it was consistent, let's just keep it moving. So anyway, that's just me. So yes, Tammy, awesome. I'm going to go ahead and move that down here. QuickBooks. Whitney, close. Quicken is close. I love that. Look at that. We had 2 on here. See what happens, you guys, when you comment during the live broadcast? You get put on the screen. So great options here, but it was QuickBooks. So 20 ways to get clients to pay their bills and invoices faster. Now, I'm going to go through this list and we're going to talk about the different options here. And at any time, feel free to drop in the comments. Hey, Lori, welcome. Excited to see you. We're just jumping into the content. You missed some of random news, but that's okay. We were sad for a Taco Bell that burnt down in Alabama for about a half a second, I think. Others not so much, but hey, that was random news. So getting your bills paid, or getting your invoices paid and making sure that you have things set up for your clients. Now, this is huge, especially if you're just starting out. QuickBooks, yes, Lori. So if you're not familiar, QuickBooks is a great accounting program. I have that. It's one of my tools. It's listed on Check with Ed. It's fantastic. It allows you to do as little or as much as you need to. And what's great is that they are always there for support. So their support system, let's just talk about that for a second before we dive into this article. Because anytime you get a product, a service, whatever, it always comes down to the support. Let's just face it. I mean, the reason I buy a Mac is because I know it's going to have support attached to it. It could be the same price of a PC. Everything on the PC could be the same as the Mac. I'm still personally going with the Mac because I want the support. That's just me. Yeah, Tammy says the Snogo starts at $16.99. That's not too bad when you consider, it could have been way pricier. Not that I'm going out for $1,700 to buy that, but super cool. We covered that in random news for those just tuning in. So with QuickBooks, if you have ever used their support line, you actually get to call in and talk to a real person. It's awesome. And then they help you. They have saved me literally. My intention wasn't to plug QuickBooks, by the way. And I am an affiliate if anybody needs a link, but their support sells itself. Like literally when I switched over to them at the beginning of my business, they were amazing. And Check with Ed tip, QuickBooks especially, because they have the best customer support. It's so true. And you guys know, especially those who've been following me, I am all about breaking things down and making it stupid easy, right? I want you guys to have resources that are going to work for you and that have the best support, which is why I have my tools page over at Check with Ed, because of the fact that it's important to know what you maybe don't know, right? And that's a little part of being able to find that is by seeing the tools that I use. And they're not just, a lot of them aren't just because I'm affiliates for them, because there are some that I'm affiliates for, which means, if you use my link, I can get some credit from that company. But that's not what I'm in it for. What I'm in it for is the fact that they have fantastic support, that they have a good user interface. Those are things that I'm passionate about and that I know you as a user or a potential user need to have, especially if you're not tech savvy. So that's my whole thing, is trying to find the best alternatives for you that are still going to get you to where you need to be, but just a little bit quicker and a little bit easier for you. So QuickBooks has that in terms of their support. They're fantastic, and they do screen sharing. So that's my little plug for them. So now let's talk about their article and kind of going through this. If you're running a business, I want to know, do you have some kind of invoicing system set up? Even if you're watching the replay, you can say yes or no, but do you have some kind of invoicing system set up? And if you don't, that's okay. I'm just curious. And to add to that, because chances are if you have a business, you do have an invoicing system set up. So let me take it one step further and ask, do you have an option for them to pay you online via credit card, PayPal, bank transfer, whatever, all that stuff counts. But do you have invoicing set up, and then do you have online payments accepted? Those are the two things that I want to know, even if you're watching the replay. So, by the way, every time you guys see me drink out of my cup, it's always water, because I have lights on, and talking and thinking and doing all this at once is a lot of work. So there you go. See, Lindsay, you are right on time. It's all good. I'm so excited that you're here. We're just getting started. So when it comes to invoicing, you want to make sure, QuickBooks for invoicing, nice. And yes, on online payments. Perfect, Tammy. So that's the answer that I'm looking for. Whether or not you use QuickBooks, it doesn't matter. But accepting online payments, and we'll talk about that here in a second. So that's good. Whitney, yes. Invoicing and online payments is set up. Yes. That's what we're talking about. That's what we want. I haven't set it up, but I have a plan for it. Lindsay, that is perfect. And I'm going to put that on the screen because I want people, even watching the replay, to know that it's okay if you're not set up completely with it yet. as long as you have a plan, and that's part of why we're doing this episode, is to have the seed planted, right? To get it out there. So when it comes to a business, you need to have this set up. You have to have a plan in place, right? To be able to accept money. Because it's one thing to think about the idea of a product or a service that you're going to offer. Then it's a whole other thing, though, to then filter that out and then put on a price and then figure out how are you going to collect that price. Because you just went through all that work, so you need to figure out how you're going to collect that price. Now, I will say, Aaron, welcome. I am so excited Aaron's here. Fun fact, Aaron and I used to work together at our 9 to 5 a while ago, and so I'm so excited to have you here. So yes, QuickBooks, but I feel like it's overkill for how simple my business is. Yeah, and that's a great point. It could be in terms of what you're using it for, right? And what you need. The thing I like about QuickBooks and the reason why I've kept it around is I have the online version, by the way. I know there's all these different levels. I have the online version, and I think it's about $15 a month. But I keep it just for convenience-wise, just to have it, because it's kind of industry standard, number one. But two, I have that support that I can call and talk to a live person. And then three, it ties in my bank accounts and my credit cards. That's what I love. That's what I really love, because I prefer putting everything on a card and then paying one bill at the end of the month versus keeping track of all the checks and stuff like that. I'm anti-checks, FYI. So we'll talk about that in a second. But really having a plan, right? So you know you're going to have a product, you know you're going to have a service, one or both of those, and then you know that you have to put a price on it. So now you got to figure out how are you going to collect that money? Well, invoicing is one way, and by doing that, you need to know, are you going to accept all forms of payment? Cash, check, credit card, Bitcoin, there's all that other stuff. But we're going to stick to the three main ones: cash, credit, and checks. Excuse me. So when it comes down to that, you have to figure out what are you going to accept. So in my case, I'll use my example, and you guys can tell me in the comments, even if you're watching the replay, if you accept all three of those, or if you if it depends, if you're mostly like one versus the other. For me, I accept credit. That's pretty much the primary one. Cash is only going to happen, obviously, if it's in person, like local area, but I have a lot of clients who are from online that are East Coast clients. So cash isn't really going to work. When it comes to checks, I tend to not accept checks. It's very, very seldom that I'll accept checks because I don't like the checking system. I've never liked the checking system. A bank transfer, possibly, because now those are lower fees than credit cards. But an actual check, it's very rare that I accept checks because of the fact that if your check bounces, I'm out of money, and I'm also putting money out of my pocket to pay for the bounced check. Makes no sense to me. On top of that, I usually have to wait 5, 7, maybe longer business days once the check is mailed, right? So there's that process. If it's a check, technically you're going to have to go mail it, which could be at home or drive or whatever. And then once it's in the mail, it could take a while, and then it has to come to me, and then I have to do the bank transfer online, taking a picture or going to the bank. That's just too much work. We're in 2018. That's not what I like to do. Credit card only, occasionally a local check. Yep, Tammy, perfect, awesome. So that, Whitney, no checks. Awesome, I'm glad I'm not alone. You guys are making me happy right now. This is good. Man, no wonder why you guys keep showing up. We're like this. So anyway, that's a reason why I don't accept checks. Now, here's the other thing. When it comes to your invoicing, do you require payment up front? Do you require a 50% deposit? Do you have maybe another option? Those are kind of the two big ones, paying up front in full or 50% down. those are the two big ones. So I'd be curious, even if you're watching the replay, to let me know if you offer one or both of those, depending on the service or the product, right? Payment plans obviously could work into that too if you're doing courses. Payment plans can work as well. So we'll stick to 3. Payment plans, full payment upfront, and 50% down. Those are the 3 main ones we'll talk about, or just kind of have for this example. And you guys can let me know if you offer all 3 of those, if you offer something different. For me, when it comes to Perfect Tammy says design jobs, 50% upfront, final files release after final payment. Exactly, which is great. Print jobs, all upfront. Perfect. So the reason I ask these questions is because they're questions that I want you to think about, because you maybe didn't think about them before. When starting your business, it's hard, especially when it comes to pricing, to get all of these things down, because you have to think about them. You have to know about them, or ask the right question, or read it in a book, or whatever. And so I want to plant that seed for you if you needed it, and be able to help you figure that out, because it's important. You're trying to run a business. Now, unless your business, and I don't know, this might sound a little harsh, so you guys can tell me, but this came up the other day in my mind, and I was like, oh, I kind of like that. And you know that I love all business, and I love being able to help everyone and do this. Course payments up upon order, nice. But when it comes to running a business, because I'm very passionate about running a business, running a sustainable business, helping you grow your business online, and I want you to succeed. And so part of that is being able to accept payments online and get paid today. Not tomorrow, not the next day, not 15 days later, not 30 days later, and I get it. There are certain industries that there's not a whole lot of wiggle room when it comes to things like that. So obviously it's based off of, the industry and what you can and can't do. But I really want you to think about this, because unless you are a bill collector, your business is not to be running around trying to collect money for a job you already did, or that you are in the middle of, right? Your job is to do whatever that person hired you for. And so that's why you have to set your expectations up front before even starting a project, and knowing for yourself first what you're going to do. Is it 50% down? Is it going to be full payment up front? All of that stuff. And then put that into your contracts. Then talk about that with your clients or potential clients to make sure that they know that going into it. Because here's what I don't want to have happen, and this happens a lot, I think especially in the web design business, is that you say, okay, 50% down, and you start building it, and then you finish, but now you don't know where your client's at. They're not getting back to you. Hey, Mickey, welcome. Let me pop Mickey on here real quick. Consulting and coaching paid up front. Yes. Rare exceptions, previous clients who were with me pre-website. Yep. I'll serve them an invoice. Yep. Perfect. All good stuff. So I bring this up because it's one of those things that I'm really passionate about when it comes to especially web design stuff. I'll use that as my primary example because that's the world I live in, is that, you go through all this hard work, and if you're like me, you're like on it. Like, I want to get things checked off my list, so I'm going to do the work. And I can't hide because, hello, I'm right here. You can see my website. You can see my business page. I have a very active role online. Like, I can't hide from you, right? So if you if something's going on, like, we talk about it. We work with each other, right? And so and I don't know if maybe times are changing or what, but what's happened in the past a lot is that you can hire a web designer, you get your website built, and then sometimes the client kind of like ghosting, I think is the right word for that. But basically they are hard to get a hold of. and you're like, well, I have the project sitting here waiting to transition to you. We don't need to wait 6 months to finish this. Let's do it so I can get it off my plate. Or the opposite happens. The client is like, I'm good to go. Can we finish? And the designer is like taking forever. I mean, either way can always happen. My point is that you want to make sure you set expectations up front. And like a lot of you, which I'm really happy to see, I am the same. I have most of my services are all payment up front because I know I'm going to show up and deliver. And I'm hoping you know that too by our interactions, both online and through email and through chats, whatever. Like, I'm ready to work with you and be able to deliver what you need, but payment's going to have to be up front. Like, because I know that I'm going to do the job and I know I'm going to get through that. And it's fun to know that you are okay with that, right? And there's going to be some pushback, which is fine. You're going to get people who are going to be like, ooh, what? Like, why are you charging all up front? Like, why can't I just pay you half now and half later? Let's talk about it. Let's work through those. Like, don't just dismiss those people. Talk to them and filter through because, maybe they've been burned in the past. It's totally possible. And that stuff comes up. And I've had clients where we've talked about it. And that's what led to a stronger relationship, actually, because we talked about it before anything even went through. So just keep that in mind when you're going through and talking with your customers, having that conversation, or potential customers, I should say, because you really want to be able to do that. So that's tying into this article. That was not a tangent, I swear. But the first one on that article was request an upfront payment or deposit. See where we went with that? So that's why I was curious what you guys offer and what you go with. And it's just reassuring those who want to work with you that you're going to show up and that you're going to deliver. It can be very hard if your presence online is not as active as mine, which is okay. I know not everyone's going to be, Facebook living every day. They're going to be in Facebook groups and all these other places online. Like, I get that. That's okay. But do you offer a guarantee? Oh yeah, Tammy, like, we always are able to talk. Like, communication, that is my number one guarantee, that we are going to be able to talk. Like, if you aren't satisfied, let's talk about it. What else can happen here? Like, that's the beauty of having that open communication and letting your potential customers, clients know that you are there for them, that you're going to help assist them as needed. So you really want to make sure that you do that. Perfect, Mickey. I'm going to pull this on the screen here. I explained this to a client today. Oh, cool. I keep pricing fair. Yep. Reasonable by limiting overhead, like invoicing and accounts receivable follow-up. Yep. And that's the thing, you guys, just like we learn here on the show and what we learn about Facebook and any other social media, it's about the conversation. That's why I encourage you to constantly jump into the comments, show emotions, not just the like, but emotions, and engage not only with me, but everyone else that's showing up here, even if you're watching the replay, because you're building your brand, you're building your awareness, you're building relationships, and that's how you're going to get noticed, and that's how people are going to start to trust you more, because they can see you. They know you're not just some weirdo who has like a really cool fancy page set up that you're, scheming everyone out of their money. Like, that's just not going to happen, right? So that's why it's important to have an online presence. And it's important to check other people's online presence as well, through commenting, not just how many followers they have. Let me side subject. Well, it ties in. I had a client once before I was official in my full-on business. I had a client once who almost got locked into a 6-month contract with some random person. I had never heard of them, but they had sweet talked the client into, before they were a client of mine, they just always would reference with me on certain things. And so they had this meeting with this person down in Southern California, in the LA area, mixing and mingling and everything. Hey, Anna, welcome. And so they almost got locked into a 6-month contract. I forget how much it was, but it was like thousands of dollars for a month for them to do some marketing stuff. And I was like, whoa, 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 pump the brakes. Let me see who this guy is. So I Googled him. I did a little extra research, and I was not impressed at all with any of his online presence, no activity on his social media accounts, and his website wasn't that great. And yeah, I'm going to judge that. So I was like, don't do this. Like, this is stuff that we can work on together, and it's not even going to lock you into a contract. Like, you don't even have to worry about that part, you know? So it's being a resource. Even if you don't get the job, that's fine, but be the resource. Be the person that people can show up, ask you a question, know that you're going to show up and deliver. Even if you can't deliver an answer every time in terms of the specifics, a resource is great, some kind of tool, right? Let me see here. Tammy, it's so important to do a good job. It's much easier to get repeat business, versus getting new clients all the time. Referrals are the way to go. That's what I'm all about. Great point there, Tammy. And that's what my business is built on, you guys, is referrals. I really appreciate everyone that shows up, even if you're not a client of mine. The fact that you show up and tune into my show, the fact that you drop a comment on my personal posts, that you check out a blog post, I mean, all that stuff matters to me. It doesn't matter if we end up working together or not. The fact that we have this connection is what matters. And that's what builds that trust, that know, like, trust factor, right? It's always good to save people. Oh yeah, Lindsay. I'm going to put that on the screen. So much. And that was payment for me, going back to that example. That was payment in itself. The fact that I was able to save them that contract, that money, and possibly taken for even more money, you know? So always do your homework. And that means whether you're Googling it, whether you're doing the research, you ask somebody else to do it, but just do that research, you know, before you start signing on those dotted lines. Okay, so back to the article. So that first one was request upfront payment or deposit. Invoice your clients as quickly as possible. So this is a big one. Also, it ties into regular payment schedule. So we'll kind of combine those two. How often do you invoice people? If you're sending an invoice, are you sending them on to the people, to your clients on a regular basis? That could look like on the 1st of the month. That can look like the 15th of the month. That could be every 2 weeks, you know, that kind of stuff. Anna says, I'm planning on offering a guarantee up to 30 days, less registration fees, because I'm sure clients will be super satisfied. Yeah, and that's the thing, you guys. You want to go in with that mindset. Like, it's good. Like, I'm not trying to scheme you. Like, you can test this out. You can go here and check it out. Like, if you're not happy, here's your guarantee, you know? And that's the thing. And not be salesy. Like, and people will know. They, just like you guys know with me, they're going to know, because we're just that kind of person. We care. We actually care about what happens. We're about the long-term relationships. We're not about the sale today, right? Mickey says, invoice monthly. Perfect. At the end of the month for the month prior. Yep. So that's the kind of thing is that you want to pay attention to. Are you invoicing regularly? Does your client or potential client know when you're going to send those invoices, right? So a part of the way you're going to get paid on time is by making sure that you set the right expectation up front, letting them know this is when I will invoice you on XYZ. You can expect to have this invoice. Please pay upon receipt. Please pay that day. Don't wait 5 days, because then I'll have to insert a late fee, or 10 days or 15 days. Like, you guys determine how long you want to wait. That's part of also in this article, which I'll put the link to this article in the comments at the end, because that way you can actually read through it. We're kind of combining some of these steps here just to have that conversation. But you want to make sure that you have your regular schedule and negotiate clear payment terms up front, which is what we've talked about. Are you going to have a late fee? What's that late fee? How much of a percentage? What is the late fee? When is it going to kick in? 2 days, 5 days, 10 days, 15 days? I hope not anything later, because again, you guys are trying to run a business, And unless it's a certain specific circumstance that you just can't get around because of that industry, you should get paid close to instantly for your time, for your job that you've created, for whatever you're producing. It's just like when you go to, hopefully this is just off the top of my head, so hopefully this is a good example, but it's just like when you go to the shoe store. When you go to the store to buy shoes, you're going to buy the shoes, right? Well, you have a return policy, but it's not like you're going to go walk out the store with those shoes and not pay. You're just walking, you just buy? No. You have to buy the shoes still. If you don't like them later, then yeah, maybe you can return them. But you can't just walk out the store with the shoe. I mean, you can, but it's not going to be a good look for you. And so you have to kind of think of real life retail situations like that. Again, everyone's industry will be different, but that's kind of how I like to run things is, no, this is what you're getting. This is what I'm going to do for you. Chances are it's going to go above and beyond that. And I just need to make sure that we're good first and that everything's taken care of because things always come up later and all that stuff. Let me jump into the comments here. I tell clients that I will start their project upon payment. Yes, Tammy, exactly. And you guys can have that in your contract as well as let them know up front. Exactly. Everyone always wants it done last week. It's so true. You guys, that is another reason why you have to be upfront. And here we go. We're going to say it. Email, not text messaging. I know some people run their business via text and it just, I cringe because here's the thing. You are running a business. You need to have searchable database of info, what that communication looked like when you had it with your clients, which is why I say email, email, email. Conduct all business through email because it's going to make your life easier to search for those conversations that you had. If you have a phone conversation, great. What you need to do is follow up in an email. Per our conversation, we discussed XYZ at this price. It will be due upon receipt. You have late fees, like those things should be in your contract, but even in a simple email, at least you have something and ask them to reply, letting them know that they got it, right? That's what you need to do. Lindsay, I'm used to working at a ladies where then sending them monthly. Yep, we'd write off fee sometimes. But yeah, sorry you guys, I'm like trying to read and do all this stuff, and then I'm going to put Mickey's here up on the screen because email is the way. Only text in emergencies, exactly. Clients can have up to a 3-month plan with me, but they have the option to use PayPal. Yep, PayPal is great. You got Stripe and PayPal. Those are the two main ones. Of course, there's other ones, but those are the two main ways to get paid online that everyone pretty much is satisfied with and that are easy to implement. Literally, if you don't have credit card payment system set up, it really doesn't take that long to get you up and running. Trust me. In fact, I had one time a local business that didn't accept credit cards, and I was like, oh, why? I even offered, hey, can I set you up with it so that way I can use my card? But they just weren't ready for that next step. I think the technology scared them. If you want to get paid and you don't want to wait, you're going to have to accept online payments. It's a way to guarantee that you're going to get paid now. And yes, there's fees, but when you go with Stripe or PayPal, those are one of the lowest ones, 2.9% plus 30 cents. Yeah, fees can add up, but do you want to get paid today and have a little of the fee taken out, or do you want to hope that you get a check in the mail before your next bill or whatever it may be, right? So you have to kind of think about that stuff. Hopefully this is helpful for you guys. Hopefully it's not sounding like I'm just ranting. Payments and business is just a big deal. And so I hope this is helpful for you guys, even watching the replay. Number 6 on that list was be polite with your invoice language. Things like, thank you for your business. We appreciate your timely payment. And that's just common courtesy, right? That's what we all should be doing in general. That's what we want to make sure we build our business on, is being able to be polite, treat people the way you want to be treated, even in a contract. Aaron, waiting for checks in the mail is the worst. Exactly. That is the worst, which is why I can't stand checks. One of the reasons. We already discussed the other ones. But yeah, you don't want to wait. You want to find out if it's there or if it's not. And so being polite, that's just common sense, common courtesy, and you guys are watching me, so I know you guys all do that already, so we're good. 7, provides a small discount for early payment. That one's up for debate. When it comes to your products, your services, your time, and all that stuff, I tend to so when I was in a marketing workshop, this always stuck with me and this has been a while since I was in this workshop, but what the instructor had said really stuck with me is that before you start offering discounts, see about adding value. Because when you start offering discounts, you're training people to be cheap. Now, of course, that you can take that how you want, and you can apply it to different situations, or different situations that can be applied differently. But I want you to start thinking about that and really start seeing, before you jump on a discount, can you just provide more value? What does that look like? And it's going to be different for everyone. So everyone's answers will be different. Every situation will be different, but just think about that. Let's see. My husband used to wonder why I was always checking the mailbox. Aaron, that is hilarious. Not really, but yes, it is. Yeah. Then he realized that's where the money was. Yeah. The money's in the mailbox. And here's the fun thing about having online payments set up is that you get notifications in your email, on your screen of your phone, on your watch, if you have one, that say, so-and-so paid. You're like, yes, awesome. And then you can go about your day, and it just feels good, right? Versus dreading 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, whenever your mail comes, and being like, oh, I hope it's in there. I hope it's in there. And you get there and you're like, oh, it's not in there. Like, that all weighs on you as well. Like, even if we're not talking about money for a second, just that thought is draining, especially if you're doing that multiple times throughout the month or whatever. So really, we're talking about health here, your self-care. Keep that in mind. All that stuff adds up. Tammy, more value is always way better than a discount. Yeah, exactly. I totally 100% agree with you guys, or with you on that. Hopefully you guys think that too. So anytime that you're questioning yourself on price, kind of think about that and see about adding more value before discounting it. So then that way, people know. I mean, think about it too. When you go to Apple, you're not really expecting a discount. You may ask for a discount. That's fine. You can ask for it. But you don't really expect a discount going in there because you know what it is, you're going to pay for whatever it is. But when you go to, like, say, Walmart, maybe, you expect it to be discounted because of the rollback pricing, right? It's all through that marketing. So understand it will depend on where you go. Yep. Oh, yeah. Mickey nailed it. Yeah. Mental and emotional health are a real thing. It's so true, especially being an entrepreneur, being out here trying to run your business and wear all these different hats. And that's why it's important to have your money game set up from the start. So that way you don't have to be chasing it because you have too many other things that you have to chase after. So, we talked about penalized late payments, payment reminders. Oh, this is a good one. So, we'll kind of fly through some of these before time here, but do you send reminder emails to your clients? So if you're invoicing them and they haven't paid, whether that day, the next day, 5 days, whatever, do you have a system in place that sends a friendly reminder? And if so, what does that schedule look like? So these are things that you want to think about. Chances are your program, your accounting program might have something in there where most of them I think do, where they'll have reminder emails. A simple thing even with Acuity Scheduling, which is my online booking system that I'll use for one-on-ones, that actually has email reminders built into it. But because I require payment up front, I don't have to worry about the email thing, but it's there in case I need it for certain things that I maybe will change for a 50% deposit or something like that, right? So whatever system you use, make sure that you look at those reminder emails and that you change the template a little bit to make sure you put in that nice wording. Some are smart and they'll put it in there as a template, but you want to make sure that you kind of make it a little more personal, because remember, we're all human. We're all connecting with each other, and we want to work with people we know, like, and trust, right? So keep that in mind. Review your invoice system weekly was another one. Be flexible with payment types. So we kind of talked about that. Keep a good rapport with your clients. That's huge, 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 huge. And that's what I say, make your guarantee, or at least one of your guarantees, that you're there to talk. You're open to discuss with them. Like I said, I don't go for checks. I don't like checks, but maybe that's the only way that you can pay me and you really want to work with me. Well, then we're going to talk about it. We're going to have that discussion and see where we can go with that, right? It's not, well, I don't accept checks, so you're out of luck. No, it's, well, let's have a conversation about it. Let's see what we can do. Because when you start having those conversations, that's where the know, like, trust factor builds up. And that's where you feel more comfortable about working with each other, right? Because you get it. You're not just there for the sale. You're there for the other person. You're there to help them get to the next level. So keep that in mind. Hopefully that makes sense. Then we have automate invoices. That's another option that will help you save time. Certain programs will have an automated system built in. Acuity system can do something like that. I have Dubsado is another one, which I absolutely love. You can find that on my tools page as well. But that's a great one, and it has a built-in system where I pretty much have everything ready to go. So when you select a package, the next thing, it automatically generates that invoice for you because I've already gone through the steps. It took a long time because you have to think through all these steps. You have to put yourself in your customer's shoes and really plan everything out. So it does take time, but I will tell you it's time well spent because, again, you're putting in the effort up front for that long run, right? We're not just trying to, in the moment, like every 5 seconds, because it goes back to what Mickey said. Our mental and emotional health are a real thing, and we need to take care of that. And especially if you're just the only one running your business. Use reoccurring billing options if you have a subscription type service. Let's see, reward and recognize your clients. Again, sending a thank you email, letting them know that you're there if they need you later on. It's just going above and beyond that. A lot of my clients I'm friends with on Facebook. I mean, that's how they found me, some of them, and we're friends on Facebook, and we connect in the comments. We still share things with each other, even if I'm not working directly with them, right? That's okay. That's part of building your community. That's building up your relationships and having fun, because we're all human. It's not just about that paycheck. Don't hesitate to ask for payment and regular follow-up. Yeah, you should always make sure you have a follow-up system. And then, let's see, hold on to work until you get paid. So number 20 on that list was hold on to work until you get paid. So obviously you want to make sure that you do that. Send handwritten branded cards. Look at Tammy. Yeah, I like that. I will say that is nice to have one of those cards come in the mail. I will be honest, I don't do that. I do like the idea. I've just never been one for the mail in that sense. I know it's weird. I'm a digital guy, but I should actually start sending digital thank you cards. I'll put that on my to-do list there. Thanks, Tammy. I like that. See, that's what happens when you guys jump into the comments. We can have those conversations. We can have those ideas pop up. So even if you're watching the replay, jump into the comments. Tell us. Share with us. Drop a tip like that, because you just never know, So that's some of the ways. I'll share that link to this article so you guys can actually read it, see if it sparks any ideas or if it goes into a little more detail where you're like, I wanted to know a little bit more about that, and then here it is. But basically, just make it easy for you and your clients. Oh, here's the last part that we'll tie in, because so far I feel like it's been about me, right? Not just me, but like you as me. Here's the thing I want you to also think about. Talking about the user experience, right? Because that's what we talk about here. Is it's not just about you getting paid. It's about making it convenient for your client or potential client to pay you. Listen, if I'm your client, number one, I expect that you offer online payments. That's just a given. We've already covered that for me personally. So if I'm your client, I want to be able to engage in your services, buy your product, whatever, and be able to easily pay you online through a credit card, whatever. But I want to be able to click something, pop in my credit card, and go. That's it. Like super easy. If you send me an invoice, I want to be able to click on it and pay you and go. Why? Because I don't want to take time out of my day to sit there and try to figure out how I'm going to pay you for a service or a product. Like, I'm also a business owner, or I'm also, running other things in my life. Because again, remember, I'm your client for a second. So you want to make sure that you make it easy for them, because they're also doing 100 different things. And if you make it hard for them to pay you, they're not going to want to pay you, and then they're going to be frustrated, right? It should be so easy that if I'm at the gym and I get your invoice, I can literally pull up my phone, pause for 20 seconds maybe, tap 2 things, boom, done. Tammy's paid. I'm going to go back working on the biceps. I'll go home happy, right? So really make that your thing. Make it easy to get paid. Mic drop. Boom. And on that note, I thank all of you guys for tuning in. Even if you're watching the replay, definitely jump into the comments and hang out with us. I'm going to join the after party, which is the comments, and connect with you guys over there real quick after this. Always feel free to share. And if you guys have topics or anything you want to cover, you can always pop them in the comments. Some exciting things are coming up. Tomorrow is my live training, which won't be on here because it's a paid thing, but that's exciting, and we'll probably end up mentioning how it went afterwards on tomorrow's show. And I think that's about it. Yeah. Let me just take a look at the comments before I let you guys go. For one program, clients receive a welcome package. Yeah, welcome package, Anna, is a good one. Digital is great, but you can stand out more. Yes, Tammy, exactly, with a physical card. You're so right. You're welcome, Aaron. Tammy, you are awesome. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we'll talk to you tomorrow. This episode is sponsored by Stupid Easy. Easily create, share, and sell your online courses. Discover more at stupideasy.com.